so moving on swiftly, I think it's Jack. In fact, Jack, this is the first time I've seen you without your hat. And you've got hair. I just always assumed our storytellers, we wore hats because we didn't have any hair. Clearly, inequality goes beyond financial measures. So Jack, you want to share the story? Right.
I've got to do something before I start. Something to do before I start. Good evening, good evening, good evening. And good evening to you. Good evening. Good evening to you. And good evening to you, madam, over there. That's 3 votes. This tale I've got for you now, this tale started some years ago. I've been in London, and I was travelling back up to Edinburgh. And it was in the days of the corridors and the trains, and I couldn't get a seat. And I was sitting on the floor, and you could listen to the wheels, you know, click, 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 click. And suddenly there was a pair of brown boots in front of me. Wonderful, expensive brown boots. And I heard a voice saying, "Have you not got a seat, old chap?" Well, sometimes I can be quick-tempered, and I felt like saying, well, you meet a lot of better people down here than up there. But he was a nice man. I didn't want to offend him. And I looked up, and there was this very aristocratic, handsome-looking man, complete with a monocle. And then he saw the black watch tie I was wearing because I'd been to an army reunion. "Oh," he said, "a jocker. We can't have jockers sitting on the floor. You come with me, jocker." Now, jocker was an expression used by commanding officers for the main under them, and it was an expression of great friendship and admiration. Nowadays, I'd probably get 6 months in prison for it, but we love to be called jockers. So I followed him because he was a sort of man that when he spoke to you, you straightened your shoulders, and I just called him sir right away. And he was going up the train, and he was heading towards the first class compartment. And I said, "Oh, excuse me, sir, I've not got a first class ticket." He said, "Stuff and nonsense, don't worry about that, old chap. You come with me." And he took me to this first class compartment. And he stretched up and he brought down a Fortnum and Mason's basket. He said, "Now you stick into that now, jockers. Us army men have got to look after each other." Well, I opened the lid, and I've never seen such wonderful food in all my life. Foie gras. Oh, there was wines, brandies, spirits, sandwiches. Not a sight anywhere of bucky or pork scratches. It was absolutely wonderful food that I'd never experienced. And I was sitting eating it. And he said, "By the way," he said, "there's some newspapers there. It's going to be a long journey up to Edinburgh." And he picked up one and gave me one. And after a couple of minutes I heard him saying, "Stuff and nonsense, bloody stuff and nonsense." And what it was reading a paper that said the royal family were dysfunctional. Dysfunctional, he said, what a lot of nonsense. Take my family, for instance. Now, that was a dysfunctional family. And he told me about himself. He himself was one of the landed gentry, one of the Scottish landed gentry. And he lived in a castle quite close to Loch Ness, a very damp part of Scotland. And the name of the castle was Fair Piss and Do. And he lived there with his mother and his father and his uncle and his aunt. And it appeared that his mother had a very bad habit of preparing large banquets that went on all day, the preparation. But by the time she'd finished, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. And he said, I was eating at the time, and he said, and when I was brought up there, he said, I remember sitting at 3 in the morning and falling asleep head first into the cock-a-leaky soup. And he said, this had quite a profound effect on his father. And his father, rather than divorce his mother, decided to move into the west wing of the castle. Now, the west wing of the castle had been boarded up for many years due to dry rot and woodwork. But he said his father, the old Duke, got it opened, and he moved in there right up to the top flat, and he took the bed the bed from the museum. There was a museum in the castle, and this bed had belonged to Henry VIII. Massive big oaken bed. And he was quite happy up there, quite happy. And the man servant used to come up once a month. And he got him away from the wife, the old Duchess. And one night there was to be a dreadful storm. There was to be a storm that shook the castle to its very foundations. And the state of the west wing was such that the heavy bed crashed through the floor. And it went right down the entire building like a lift shaft. And of course the old Duke was entombed inside it with all the masonry, and his wife was grief-stricken, because she blamed herself. And she took herself off to Africa, where she opened up a soup kitchen just on the banks of the Limpopo. And are you still with me? And there she was to feed. She was to feed the poor natives. But unfortunately, this very bad habit she had of dishing up food at 3 in the morning wasn't very popular with the natives. Of course, they were to rebel, and I thought that was, oh, that's quite nice. They were to rebel, and they put her on the menu, and so this was the end of the mater and the pater, and this left only the uncle and the aunt to look after the young chap who was grown up. The uncle had been in holy orders. He was a bishop, Bishop of Soho. And he'd opened up a sanctuary for fallen women. But unfortunately, he'd saved some of the fallen women for himself. And he was to be defrocked, which was a great pity because he had a wonderful collection of frocks. One in particular was a beautiful, shocking pink one, puff sleeves, and he made a very impressive sight because it was well over 6 feet with this lovely dress on and a big, long, black beard. And when he went down to the local village, the little children would dance round him just like the Pied Piper, wonderful, and they would all shout, "Purut, Purut, Purut," which is any non-Scottish people in Purut's an old tradition that children expect to get a little gift if anyone going to a wedding. And they would follow him back to the castle, and there it would lean out a top-storey window and throw out sweets and toffees and whatnot. But unfortunately, when he was dispensing this lavish, he tumbled out the window. And the gardener had been digging a deep trench in preparation for roses to be planted the next day. And the poor old uncle was to go head first into and the gardener was also very bad sighted, very poor sighted. And when he arrived the next morning, he didn't see the uncle at all, and he just tipped the manure in. And should you ever be up in Fairpiss and Doon, look on the west elevation of the castle, and you'll see a profusion, a most wonderful profusion of shocking pink roses. Now that was only to leave the last one, the aunt, the old Marchioness, the lovely old lady she was. But she had rather strange habits. She had been engaged to a junior officer on board the Titanic. And this had left her with a morbid fear of water. She couldn't bear to be near water, to the extent that she never washed at all. And one had to be very careful and always making sure you were upwind of it. A visiting architect pointed out that he thought the castle, the old castle, was suffering from rising damp. And of course, at the mention of that, the poor old aunt panicked immediately, and she ordered a small rowing boat to be delivered to the 3rd floor flat where she was living. And she also got a pair of long waders, fishermen's waders, which she wore, and she would sleep in this boat at night. But because she was of advanced age and often had to answer a call of nature during the night, It was a long walk all the way down through the castle, along the corridors to the ground floor toilets. And she hit upon an idea. She went into the museum, and in the museum there was a relic which had been left behind by the great Queen Victoria. Now, Queen Victoria was a small woman, but she was big in other ways. And she'd had a special chamber pot commissioned to accommodate her needs. And the aunt got this chamber pot next to the boat to save her having to come down, and it worked. And it only needed emptied once every 6 weeks. One night, when she was climbing out to answer the call of nature, one of the little hooks that kept the waders up got entangled on a willy hook, and she was to tumble head first into the potty. And she drowned. And of course the other family down south didn't know how to explain this to the public, but they got over it by putting a little obituary into the Times that simply stated that the old Marchioness, had drowned in the Po. And of course people assumed she'd been in Italy and we're getting near to the Waverley station, and I wondered where this wonderful, kind old gentleman fitted in this bizarre tale. Where did he fit it at all? Where was it? And as you walked up the platform there at the Waverley station, I realised the tail he had on was quite as bad as